Otherwise, I'll get my headset.
No problem. All right, with the co-director Annette Scheurich. Hopefully, I said that right. How good was I on a scale of pronouncing your last name? Was I
That was very good. Very good.
very good? Okay,
For non-German, that was very good.
for non-German. All right, I feel good now. I'm all positive. Okay, so Matings. You're the co-director. Matings in the Wild. You got two films, right? Mating Games and Birthdays, and then you have another Matings in the Parents in the Wild, Mission Offspring. So two great feature films. They're around 52 minutes long. Was the plan always to make two different films, or basically like, or did you decide to change the make
Not
the go ahead?
not really. Um, I mean, the plan was to make one film, but then
Okay.
we found so much material and so many interesting things, and we thought, oh, we've got too much, and we decided. Then we discussed this with our commissioning editor, and he said, okay, if you can make a concept that's valid for two parts, let me know. And then we sat together and thought, how can we do that? Um, and then we had so much material, and it was really, really difficult to decide how to structure it. So we don't have one birth after the other and then one mating after the other. So, there's a bit of a storyline to everything. And so we finally decided to put the preparation for parenthood in one film. So what
Hmm.
do parents have to do to be prepared for their offspring?
Yeah.
And then the second part is about what do parents have to do once the offspring is there. It's
Gotcha.
so
No, it's
that
I love these films. I think it's fascinating because it's just like you're talking about your co-director. He has young children. He's not able to be with us right now, and it's the same analogy, except that I guess we're evolved and but at the same time, it's like it's about love. It's like the underlying theme of your films are about love, that these parents love their offspring and and basically I always use this term. It's like they're setting them up for success. And that's what you say in your synopsis. They're setting their children up for success so they can, when they navigate the wilds of the world, literally, they'll be okay, or well, they'll be as good as they can possibly be, I guess.
yes, and that's exactly what we wanted to show. And also we didn't want to show the children's perspective because you've got so many films about how do children cope in the
Yeah.
world, how do wild babies cope, etc. But we wanted to show what do parents have to do? What hardships do they have to go through
Mhm.
to be able to raise their young? What strategies do they have? Because in the wild, with all the animals, everyone has a different strategy.
Yeah.
So you've got the ones who have only one child and they sort of care and protect it, like a big umbrella,
Yeah.
like bears, for example. Or you have, spiders. They have hundreds of offspring,
Yeah.
and then once they put a protection around them until they hatch, then they die.
Yeah.
So the offspring is not as protected as another one as the ones that are well, there's only very few, but there's so many that some might survive. So completely different strategy. And that was really fascinating to I mean, I've been making wildlife films for a long time, but even for me, some things were really surprising and I like the funny things too.
So when did you like decide on what animals to focus on? So you have squirrels, you have like the gray seal pup, you have the foxes, and so how did you kind of okay, what are we going to focus on here? What was that? How did you make that decision of what animals to focus on?
One of the decisions was, yeah, one of the premises was we have to show different animals, not only
Yeah,
fur, and not only insects and etc. So we want to show a whole variety of everything. And that was one of the premises. Now, we had about 5 times as much as are in the films, at least. And then it got down to what is feasible.
Gotcha.
Because what, as you know, for wildlife filmmaking is extremely costly. So we were deciding or trying to decide, what do we have? What can we get? Where can we enhance a story that we maybe already have, but we need another 3, 4 weeks of shooting to sort of get the whole story of it.
Okay.
And this is how with most of the animals, we decided feasibility, because in Germany we don't have the BBC budgets. So what we say in Germany, we have to stretch. What's the saying? I forgot. Sorry.
Stretch the budget.
Well, yeah, we had to stretch the budget too, but we had to adapt to the financial limits too.
Gotcha. That's yeah. So okay, so tell me about how does it work? Okay, so you're spying on these animals, basically, right? And how far away are you? And then I'm always curious because you watch all these movies. Are the animals sometimes aware that you're there and like they're like, what are you doing here? Like, why are you bothering us?
That depends. That depends. Like foxes, for example, or yeah. No, let's start with bears.
Bears?
There is a
Okay.
region in Alaska, for example, where there are lots of brown bears get together in the spring. And since there have been tourists coming every year, they usually couldn't care less about who's walking along with them or not, as long as you don't bother them. And well, sometimes you have a bad bear and then you better be careful. But normally they are really peaceful, except with each other sometimes. But they normally don't attack or threaten you at all. We had one special experience, I must tell you that about the bears. There was a bear mother, and she deliberately sat next to us with and was suckling her offspring, because near us she felt a bit more protected
Yeah.
than in the open, where all the big bears were trying to mate with the other females. So these are some experiences that we learn. Some animals like roe deer, you can't get near them. This is weeks and weeks of waiting and trying to find the right time and the right spot. For example, the squirrel birth. That one, we had lots of squirrel in the wild, but we had there was a man who raised injured squirrels, and some of them couldn't go out in the wild anymore. And one of them was pregnant
Yeah.
with a hollow tree trunk, and put cameras in there. And then she peacefully never noticed us, and we could film that. So for every animal, it's a different strategy.
Yeah.
A distance, and some you can get really close up. Spiders, you can get really close up. They don't care.
So, but certain animals, like I'm assuming you're kind of using a kind of like a lens that you're far away, so you're kind of like certain animals that you're using along like a kind of like a along like a lens that you can kind of like be 100 yards away, and so that they can't kind of they don't know that you're there, I guess, right?
That's what we use a lot, especially with birds or animals out in the open, in the fields and so on. But we also use macro lenses and all sorts of special lenses for different purposes.
So the interesting thing about like when you watch these movies, like your movie, you're like these animals have these, it's like second nature. It's like it's everything's instinctual. Where like they know, even though they never had a kid before, right? Like say they, you know what I mean? They never had offspring before, but they know right away what they need to do, right? Through evolution,
Yes.
it's all kind of like an almost like an assembly line of like, okay, we got to do this and we got to do this, and it's like there's no thought process. It's all survival, I guess, right?
Um, Actually, mostly yes, but there are some bad mothers with their
There's
first.
bad mothers in the in the wild.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
Some can't cope. Some are too sensitive, too young, too inexperienced. So sometimes they lose their first child, especially the ones that really have to care for their children, like monkeys or elephants or bears or those ones who care for their young for a long time.
Yeah.
And sometimes when they have their first child, it's difficult. And for the second one, they know more because they already had experience.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
that usually works best. But it's not always pure instinct. It's not always that they know everything how to do it.
Yeah. But you're describing the mammals, right? Like we're
Yes,
mammals,
yes,
but the
absolutely.
birds have been around for billions of
Yeah.
years. They know what they're doing, right? So
Yes, absolutely.
yeah,
Well, at least that's our experience. I haven't watched so many birds so closely, being there night and day. Um, but yes, usually they lay their eggs, and it's either father or mother or both that are taking care of to incubate the eggs. We have the weaver birds, for example, that feature in our films. They build their nests, and the males build several nests, and they have to be good because the females check them. If they're not good enough, they tear it apart.
yeah,
Bad luck. He's working night and day for 4 days, for 5 days to
yeah,
get an elaborate nest out of grass, weaving it. Just imagine he just has his feet and
yeah.
his beak to do that, to weave grass together
It's
into
amazing. Yeah,
really, is really amazing. And then someone comes along, not good enough, not for my children,
yeah.
tear it apart. And that know if that's all instinct or if some of those bird females are just being mean.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
like
I understand what you're
it's
saying.
basic instinct, but sometimes it really looks like, oh, don't like you.
So
And
it's a
that's
lot like
change.
humans, right? Where the mother's like not good enough. You got to do better, right? So
Yes,
yeah,
yes. Well, that's what we always also wanted to show in some parts, um, the analogies to
yeah.
human parents is obvious. Um, it's not the same, but it triggers certain behavioral structures. And sometimes that is really funny when you think about it.
Well, the more I watch these films, like your film especially, is that like how insignificant humans are. Like we have this huge ego about like how important we are. But we're really like we just got lucky in the evolutionary state. And the world doesn't really need us, right? Like
Not really.
if humans go away, the world's gonna be fine, right? But
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely.
But if insects go away, there's big trouble. That's
Ah, big
right.
trouble.
See,
Yes.
that's the thing. Like, it's like how are we like so superior? And we believe in like, I don't want to go on, but basically it's just like we're nothing in the grand scheme of the world, right? So
Yeah, and it's astonishing. The more we research, the more we see how intelligent, I put that in parentheses,
yeah,
a lot of animals are in a different way.
yeah, highly intelligent. It's just that we have thumbs, right? So we're able to build, like you said, you talked use the analogy of the birds building the nest. All they have is their beak, right? Can you imagine if birds had thumbs like us? They'd be dominating the world.
Maybe it could be,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. They've been
Well,
around
Moritz,
forever. I
yeah,
always believe that they can fly. We can't fly.
yes, flying would be good, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
That would be absolutely great. Then we could do something. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. And I mean, it all comes down to parents want their offspring to succeed.
yeah,
And for that, they do everything because also our main purpose in life is raising good children
yeah,
as a in general, not everyone, and not every single one, but um, basically the purpose of life is to go on. And it can only because everyone dies, so you only can go on, life can only go on if you have offspring.
yeah.
Um, so that's the main purpose. And we wanted to show how that works from the parents' side. And like, for example, penguins, I have no idea how that can work. I mean, it's unbelievable. They come back after 3 months and still find their chicks in thousands and thousands.
Yeah.
I don't know how that can work. Even though it does, we know, we have seen it does,
Yeah.
but no idea
Because
how
they
that can
have
work.
senses that we don't have, right? So
Well,
that's got to be the reason, right?
yes, it's well, they say for penguins, for example, it's the sound, okay?
Yeah.
But I mean, you have a well, what's that word? Can you pronounce that? Cacophony. You know what I
Cacophony.
mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Of thousands of young penguins yelling
Yeah.
out, and you have parents coming back from after 3 months and finding them. It must be something really special to be able to do that.
Yeah. Because that's the thing is that us humans, it's like thinking fourth dimensionally. We have to think beyond our capabilities. So basically, it makes sense to the animals, they can do that. But for us, because we can't do it, we think it's amazing. But it's just that they can do it. So we
Yeah,
got to think beyond ourselves, right?
for them
Right?
it's probably easy.
Yeah, exactly. It's like pardon the cliche, it's second nature. It's like
Yeah,
it's just what
yeah.
they do, right? So, but there's
And
something instinctual about like even us humans about offspring, about having that wanting to procreate, wanting to basically, you know what I mean? Like that's our instinct as creatures is that we have to keep going, I guess, right?
even frogs, I mean, in the spring, all they do is try to find a mate
Yeah,
and drown each other and in the search, in the urge of finding a mate. And how do they find that little tiny bit of water where they came from? And
yeah,
I was especially touched. Our young, very young filmmaker who was making the microscopic filming of the egg that showed the how life comes into existence, how from one egg cells,
yeah,
cells, 8 cells, 16, etc. And when I saw that first, I nearly cried. It was, for me, that was one of the most touching things in in our films. And then we built all the frog stuff around it
yeah.
because it's the wonder of life.
So how long have you been working with your co-director, Moritz? Like you guys been working together for a long time?
Yeah. Moritz has been working directly for us for 4, 5 years, 6 years, and then he moved to a different town, so he couldn't be with us permanently, but um, we're working off and on together.
Yeah.
So,
What are you working on another film right now?
Working on a science film about feces. What do you call it? The everything that flows um, into places where the wastewater is
Yeah.
being processed. What do you call those?
Recycling?
The recycling. But what does they do recycle the wastewater to be
Yeah.
able to put to get clean water that goes flows into the rivers.
Hmm.
Um, and all those processes from the toilet basically back to the river. The whole process is one of our main interests in that film, and how you can get energy from it, how you can get, for example, phosphor from it. Phosphor
Hmm.
is the key for life because it's in every single cell of every single living being, even plants and not. Um, and so we all need to recycle that. And that's where a lot of people are working very hard to find out how can we recycle that and how can we clean our wastewater so it doesn't pollute our fields, our rivers, etc.
Yeah. So
So that's one of the things.
you do
And the
amazing
other
stuff.
thing,
Yeah.
and the other thing we're working on is with a South African, Peter Lamberti. We're working on 100 years of Kruger National Park, which will be next year. Kruger National Park in South Africa.
So you like I said, like you do amazing stuff. It's like what do you what's the biggest thing from this project, Parents in the Wild series? What's the biggest thing you learned from this experience making this particular film?
Experience. Difficult to say because the script writing was extremely difficult because we had to.
I think we lost her here for a second.